I welcome all of you to the Molecular Immunology course once again. As I explained earlier, that in this particular course, the Molecular Immunology, we will try to stick with one particular topic, and we will try our best to explore all the aspects of molecular immunology as much as possible. We will start from the very basics, what molecular immunology is, what is meant by the immune system, what are the components of the immune system, what are the members of immune system, and then we will start exploring the function of each of the components of the immune system. We will not stick or not stay here. We will go further down and try to investigate and learn the molecular mechanisms behind the functions of the immune system. For example, when I speak at the end of the immune reaction, there will be antibodies out there. There will be antibodies which can kill the microorganism. Just as a starter, I'm not using the detailed terminology at this time. So at the end of the immune reaction, we will have the answer. We will have the weapon, which we call as antibodies. And those antibodies are good enough to kill the microorganism. But what are the molecular mechanisms? How the cells talk with each other? How they let each other know that what to do next at a molecular level? That is the agenda of that class. And I told you earlier that those who are senior students, the students who are like in the 7th and 8th semester, they should utilize this class for a greater purpose. They should try to understand the molecular mechanism of immune system and immune response and try to create a research proposal out of it. Because I will going to share a lot of research paper with you during that time, not to burden you, not to push you towards the wall. I will be very easy and kind with the scoring of those things. But I want you to learn and study from the research papers. The reason is that the textbook are the stuff which contains information which were established almost a decade ago. And we don't know that what's going on with what is the current status of a certain phenomena related to molecular immunology at this time, until unless we know how to access, how to get, read and analyze the studies which are coming out nowadays. That might be fine if we are not able to learn a lot of research paper out of it, but you should know the importance of scientific literature in your intellectual growth, that there is no other way that you can make yourself able enough. There is no other way that you can make yourself an eligible candidate for an international university if you are not well equipped in getting the information from the research articles. Remember, there is no shortcut, no other way, full stop. There is no ifs and buts in that description. If you are not ready, if you don't know how to read the research paper, you are not eligible. You are not ready. If you don't know how to analyze the paper, you are not ready. So when and where we should start learning about all these things? Today, in this semester, and try to develop the skill that how to stay in the research papers, how to get information out of the research papers to develop your own intellectual wisdom related to molecular immunology. And let's move on to the slides. First, I would like to introduce you that the terminology which is very famous and called as immunology, it came from the term immunity. And that immunity term originally derived from the Latin word called immunates. And that was the term which was given to the parliamentarians at that time. We do have immunates in our society as well. We don't. Those were the people which nobody can question them at that time. They can't be taken to any courts at that time. The parliamentarians, the member of parliamentarians, they were immune of all sorts of answers and all sorts of court proceedings. So the term came from there. Immune means somehow safe. Safe is not a proper word, but just to get an understanding about it. The first thing we should know about the immune system, like any other system, we know the digestive system, mouth, pharynx, oh sorry, क्या कहते हैं उसको? Pharynx, ठीक बोला था मैंने, mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, associated organs. All these organs are part of a system which is called as digestive system. Similarly, nervous system, similarly, respiratory system, and in the same way, we have different organs which are associated with the system which is called as immune system. But that is not a very traditional way of putting the organs in order. We can see in respiratory system, the organs are aligned. They are placed in order. Things come in the first part, then goes to the second part, then goes to the third part. But the immune system, the organs are dispersed in different parts of the body. They are not present like in an assembly line. It is not like that. Different organs which are participating in the immune system, they are present in different parts of the body. And you should know about all those parts as well. The most repetitive organs or parts of the immune system will be the bone marrow, and the another one which is called as thymus. Thymus is present somewhere here, right? At the where the sternum is. You know the sternum, the very hard bone somewhere here, where the ribs are actually landed in front of the chest cavity. Somewhere here, the thymus, and the other is the bone marrow. Bone marrow can be present in any bones, and especially in the bones of the legs, called as femur. सबसे ज़्यादा यहाँ पे hip bones and femur. So the bone marrow and the thymus. These are the organs which produce the cells which can execute the function of immune system. The functions of immune system can be executed with the help of the cells produced in these two organs, thymus and bone marrow. The cells which are produced in thymus, they are called as T cell. ये भूलना नहीं है, इनको मैंने भूलने नहीं देना. They are T cells. सुना ना नाम? T cells. They are called T cells because they are produced in thymus. Actually, they are produced in bone marrow, by the way. But at this today, at the start of our understanding, we will assume in this way that they came from the thymus. Actually, they are produced in bone marrow, but somehow they mature and they get their shape in the thymus. So traditionally, it is called the cells they are coming from thymus. They are called as T cells. The other cells which are produced in the bones, they are called as beta cells. Beta cells, B cells, they are coming from the bone marrow. Ye bhi aapne sune honge, they are part of the immune system. The other things which are part of the immune system, the other organs, the most important one, lymph nodes. I don't need to review the lymphatic system. You people should know about the lymphatic system. Lymphatic system is like that at the end of our circulatory system, when the arteries get divided and produce capillaries, when the blood passes through those capillaries, many of the cells present in the blood, they came out of the capillaries and they diffuse between the intercellular spaces. Many of the material from the blood, that material might be water, salts, and some cells. The cells which are not large enough, they're able to get themselves out of the blood capillaries wall because the walls of the blood capillaries are single cell wall. So the small cells can easily leach out from the blood capillaries and they are present between the intercellular space. Okay, it's difficult to speak with the mask, I can tell you. I mean, I'm breathless, but I'm normal. Okay, I'm fine. Don't worry. I'm fine. So, and we are making a distance. Okay, so no violation of SOP. So here we go.
Sir, is there space to move the desk forward a little?
So you want to make it bigger? Okay, I think I suggest you can come near. I mean, you can take your chair here. If you have a problem in your eyesight or the other things, you can sit here anywhere. That is fine. And also next time I will try to place that thing a little bit away. ये जो makeshift है ना, असल में हमारा ये वाला projector है. असल में हमारी class में एक projector लगा हुआ ऊपर. Don't worry. वो बड़ा प्यारा सा पढ़ा था, हमें इमेज देगा, वो काम नहीं कर रहा तो हमने आज ही क्लास मिस कर देनी थी ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स के लिए, तो मैंने जल्दी जल्दी में ये अरेंज किया है. दैट इज एब्सोल्युटली फाइन इफ यू कम एंड सिट ऑन माय चेयर, ओके, नो प्रॉब्लम. ये इसमें कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, इट डज नॉट मेक एनी डिफरेंस इन माय रिस्पेक्ट टू यू. और ये वो चेयर सीधा करके या जैसे करके आप बैठना चाहिए, यू कैन मूव अराउंड इफ यू लाइक टू, दैट इज परफेक्टली फाइन. ओके, just make yourself easy so that you can able to get the things right. Okay, otherwise these slides are very simple and I'm trying to use my words to recreate those slides in your mind, and of course I will going to share these things with you. Of course मैं आप लोगों को ये सारा कुछ जो है वो शेयर कर दूंगा. Let's start. So these are the organs. I'm trying to introduce the organ. The first, now come back to the lymphatic system or the lymph nodes. So when the blood enters into the blood capillaries, because of the walls of the single cell wall of the blood capillaries, much of the components of the blood are leached out and entered into where? Between the spaces present between the cells, intracellular spaces. Now from the intracellular spaces, this material is supposed to be wasted. It came out of the blood capillaries. This thing or this material is called as the lymph. That contains water, salts, hormones, or whatever XYZ things, as well as the blood cells. Not the red blood cells, but mostly the white blood cells and the other types of blood cells. That material, which is called as the lymph, is required to be sent back to the blood system. So from the intercellular spaces, that lymph is collected by small channels. Initially, these channels are open type of channels. After that, they become like a proper veins like thing. They merge to make a bigger channels, and eventually they create a very big lymphatic vessel which drain all the material into the circulatory system once again. So whatever the components of the blood are leaching out from the blood capillaries is eventually sent back to the blood through an alternative system called as lymphatic system. It's a kind of open circulatory system. Imagine, it is so important because we want every cell to be touched by the things present in the blood. Imagine if there is a trouble in one cell, if there is a microbe, if there is a virus, if there is a bacteria present in one cell, and that cell is far away from the blood. That cell is far away from the blood capillaries. The fighters, the immune cells, they are present in the blood vessel. So the blood vessel is here and the trouble is there. So they will not going to meet each other ever. So the trouble will grow without any fear because nobody can go and inspect the troubles. So this lymphatic system allows the blood cells to leach out and to touch each and every cell of our body. And after that, it is recollected and put back into the circulatory system. We have a question. Ji, Shabash. आने लगी है इसे. So lymph, the question is what is lymph node and वो कहाँ पे इस system में आती हैं. So now the channel system which collects the lymph from the different parts of the body, from every cell, is collected, and then they make a meeting point, a merger point. So a lymph coming from this side, a lymph coming from this side, a lymph coming from this side, they collected at a place. जैसे गांव में चौपाल नहीं होती जहां पर लोग बैठ के 4-5 बाबे बैठ के पूरे गांव की बुराइयां करते हैं. मोहल्ले में भी ऐसे होता है, खानदान में भी ऐसे 1-2 आंटियां होती हैं. They sit together and then they talk about everything. So it's like a merger place for different channels where all these cells are collected. It is called as the lymph node. If you want to understand the purpose of lymph node, think if there is a trouble at one part of the body, that trouble will be noticed by the immune cells, and that trouble will first meet with the other cells at the lymph node. So lymph node is the point where the cells are coming from different parts of the body and they stay some time over there. And that is the place where they can see each other, where they can talk with each other. I will show you how that a cell is naive. Naive means like a freshman. You know, दुनिया बहुत खूबसूरत है. आपने मेरी चाय पिला दी, आप मेरी जिंदगी के सब कुछ हैं. You know, at the start we just thought like this कि एक दोस्त है, बस ये पूरी जिंदगी के लिए काफी है. They're naive cells. Naive cells are the ones who don't have any experience. about the bad things, who never met any bad thing. I will use the term the antigen in the future, but right now, today, who never met with any of the bad things. So those immune cells are called as naive. They are moving around, but they never met any bad things. If the naive cells see each other, nothing will happen. But if a cell just met with the trouble, that is no longer a naive cell. That carries a certain signal about the bad thing. So lymph node is a place where they can share that information with the other cells, with the other partners. That's very critical and very important thing. So if the lymph nodes are like exaggerated, if the lymph nodes are showing some weird signs, the doctor can diagnose that some immune system is going on at that place. So garbad chal rahi hai. So that is why the lymph node is important. So from the lymph node, they are collected and then sent back through a very big lymphatic vessel back into the circulatory system, and the circles continue. That is so important because we need to talk and touch each and every cell present in our body. It's zaruri hai. Uske liye hame chahiye. So all these parts are important. Spleen is another one. Spleen is important. I want you guys to just study the spleen for me for the next lecture. Okay? I want to ask certain questions from the spleen in the next class. Maybe I will be asking some things about the spleen. Okay? Just read about what that spleen is, what is the purpose of the spleen and its job in the immune system. Bakre ki bhi khate hain na, tilli. After looking at the different organs which are involved in the immune system, the first important, thymus, and then the bone marrow, and then the lymphatic system or the lymph nodes, and then you should know about the spleen. And there are certain